Pavol Gralmas May 2, 1959, May 22, 1996 is the middle of a trio of Slovak siblings of well-known bodybuilders. His older brother is Peter 1955 to 1996, the younger Josef 1961. In the category up to 65 kilograms, he became European champion in 1990 and world champion in 1992. A year later, he also started at the most prestigious professional competition, Mr. Olympia. Then he disappeared from bodybuilding, but at the beginning of 1996 he announced his return. He applied for a professional IFBB license and planned to compete in Grand Prix competitions. At the same time, together with his brother Peter, he worked on debt collection. On May 22, 1996, he was seen for the last time. Together with Peter, he became a victim of murder. Their bodies were discovered 10 years later, in May 2006 near Brezno. 1991 World Amateur Championships, IFBB, Lightweight, 13th 1992. World Amateur Championships, IFBB, Bantamweight, 1st 1993. Olympia, IFBB, did not place. The case of the missing Gralmas brothers is being investigated as a murder. Banska Bystrica, January 30 TASR, bodybuilders brothers Peter and Pavol Gralmas have been missing since 1996. The police have indications that they were murdered. Banska Bystrica, January 30 TASR, bodybuilders brothers Peter and Pavol Gralmas have been missing since 1996. The police have indications that they were murdered and the case is being dealt with by an investigator from the Department of Investigation of Particularly Serious Criminal Activities in Banska Bystrica. The Gralmas brothers have been missing since May 22, 1996, when they were last seen after 10 p.m. in the fitness center on Rudohorska Street in Banska Bystrica. In this context, the police is appealing to the public for any information regarding the movements of the missing persons on the day in question, as well as later. It is possible that there would be a witness who saw them in the fitness center that evening, or heard noise, shouting, or shooting there, or noticed the movement of some vehicles. Information from witnesses is expected by the police at telephone number 158 or at any PZ department. The bodies of the Gralmas family have not yet been found. The motive and method of their possible killing is also unknown. Pavol Gralmas was born on May 2, 1959 in Topolcany and became known to the Slovak public as a professional bodybuilder. In 1990, he was European champion in his weight category, and 2 years later, world champion. In 1993, he presented himself in the competition Mr. Olympia and ranked among the best bodybuilders in the Slovak Republic. In 1995, he started building a fitness center in Banska Bystrica and was a co-owner of this facility, which still exists today. His older brother Peter, born on February 16, 1955, was the Czechoslovak bodybuilding champion in 1988. After 1989, he went to France and was a member of the Foreign Legion for a while. After returning to his homeland, he started practicing again. Missing bodybuilders were dug up near Brezno. May 22, 1996, at 10 p.m., the brothers Pavol and Peter Gralmas were last seen in Banska Bystrica and, in the words of the police, since that time they have not reported on themselves and have not returned to their place of permanent residence. On July 8 of that year, at the request of their relatives, a police search was announced for them. May 20, 2006, on Saturday, the police dug up 3 human bodies in the fields near Brezno. Even if their identity will be definitively confirmed by DNA expertise, the first police vice president Yaroslav Spyshik expressed himself more or less unambiguously in the television news when he said that it should be the Gralmas brothers plus one person, or according to our findings, two of them are the Gralmas brothers. The police are almost certain. Finally, everything indicates that she went to the fields above Brezno to be safe. When the Gralmas brothers disappeared, all sorts of things were considered. Some, especially their friends and loved ones, hoped that they had something to hide and fled abroad, where they are hiding and therefore cannot make themselves known. However, worse considerations led to the fact that they were obstructing someone and had to get out of the way, at any cost. The Gralmas bodybuilding family actually consisted of 3 brothers. However, the youngest Josef 1961 emigrated from the then socialist Czechoslovakia at the beginning of the 80s of the last century, so it was not allowed to write about him. And this despite the fact that in bodybuilding, as a representative of Germany, he was already successful. He also became the world champion and at the professional Mr. Olympia finished 10th. After the fall of socialism in 1989, he did not return home and stayed to live in his new homeland. Pavol Gralmas. Pavol Gralmas, born May 2, 1959, the younger of the pair, 37 years old at the time of his disappearance, became the European champion in the category up to 65 kilograms in 1990 and the world champion in bodybuilding in 1992. A year later, he also started at the most prestigious professional competition, Mr. Olympia. The younger of the missing brothers graduated from carpentry school. But he was more attracted to bodybuilding. In 1992, he became the world champion in Graz, and a year later in Moscow, the European champion. Before his disappearance, he had not lived with his wife for a long time and had 2 other relationships while married. Today, he has an 11-year-old daughter with his last girlfriend. Pavlov's family life is therefore quite complicated. And it was the same with business. His wife supported him in business after the revolution, together with an acquaintance, allegedly a relative of former HZDS politician Augustin Marian Huska. He opened a gym in Bratislava. However, he didn't like it very much, so he closed it. Later, he started doing business again with Yaroslav Bednarsik, 46, also a well-known bodybuilder. They had a gym together in Banska Bystrica. Men close to Mikula Cernak also went there to train. The alleged boss of the Banska Bystrica underworld was said to be interested in this gym. He never wanted to do anything alone, always only with his friends. We learned about Pavlov in the village. As well as the fact that he often went to see Jozo in Germany when he needed something, whether for money or to talk. Peter Gralmas. Peter Gralmas, born February 16, 1955, the older of the pair, 41 years old at the time of his disappearance, was the Czechoslovak bodybuilding champion in 1988. He trained as a turner and was also attracted to bodybuilding. In 1988, he won the Czechoslovak championship. He also worked in the police force for a while, but after the emigration of his youngest brother Josef, he was allegedly demoted and made a private soldier. Like Josef, Peter later emigrated. He wanted to get to America and devote himself to training, but in the end he served in the Foreign Legion and did not return home until 5 years later. Peter, the eldest of the Gralmas brothers, was in charge of bodybuilding at the Gralmas family. However, he did not make it internationally after his successes on domestic stages. The adventurous nature led the ex-policeman, who had to leave the police force after his brother's emigration, to the Foreign Legion and worked in French Guiana for 5 years. Immediately after the revolution, he went abroad, revealed Pavol in an interview for our newspaper about the elder Peter, who after returning from the Legion settled in Bratislava and worked in the security services. He was in Austria for a year and there he was able to be recruited into the French Foreign Legion. He told some pretty incredible stories about it. They lived in the forests and where he was, they even filmed the movie Butterfly. He must have really enjoyed it. Pavol himself became the champion of Europe and the world in bodybuilding, and thanks to winning the title of amateur world champion, he started, just like the youngest Yosef, at the professional Mr. Olympia, although without a significant result. After that, he disappeared from bodybuilding for a while, but at the beginning of the tragic year 1996, he announced a great comeback in our newspaper. He applied for an IFBB professional license and planned to compete in European Grand Prix competitions to remind himself again. However, he did not wish to participate in Mr. Olympia. At 93, he saw that he, with his smaller weight, would find it difficult to establish himself among the best professionals in the world. He wanted to wait and start at the Veteran Olympia. I want to start at the Masters Olympia competition, it is from the age of 40. I would be the first Slovak, indicated the intentions of Pavol, who in Banská Bystrica, where he temporarily moved from Bratislava, found a new girlfriend, Jana, with whom he had a few-month-old daughter Veronica. Even the desire to return to the competition stage brought him back to Bratislava with his new family. However, 5 months after this announcement, Pavol and his brother Peter mysteriously disappeared. Shortly before that, they were both in the Banská Bystrica fitness center, where Pavol wanted to settle ownership relations with the co-owner, also a former bodybuilder, with whom they had not gotten along before. The whole Saturday's action near Brezno is linked by some media to the further investigation of the former alleged boss of the Banská Bystrica underworld, Mikula C. Who is currently serving a sentence in prison for extortion and, as reported by the SITA agency, is accused of murdering several people. According to this agency, a year ago the police also undertook an action with the assistance of puppeteers to secure tracks in a fitness center in Banská Bystrica. According to the claim of some media, the brothers Peter and Pavol Gralmas were officially living in debt collection at the time of their disappearance. Although the police refused to speculate on the causes of death before the expert examination, the fact of where and how they were found suggests that the brothers died at someone else's fault. From left, Palo, Yozo, Peter. Are they the Gralmas family? Magazine Zivat. The bodies found by the police could allegedly belong to the missing PETR 40 and PAVL 36 Gralmas family. What happened was no accident. It was planned, thinks their brother Josef Gralmas 45. 3 dead bodies wrapped in plastic were found buried underground in a cottage settlement near Brezno. In addition to the alleged Gralmas family, another man was also lying in the grave. Josef does not want to explain his conviction that the death of the brothers was not an accident. I can't imagine that a person can take another person's life for a few crowns, indicated Josef, who also handed over a DNA sample last year in case his brothers' bodies were found. After 10 years, it asks you if I believe that something bad happened to them, he told us. The last time he saw the brothers was 11 years ago when he was visiting home. However, I would like to know how it was, he continued. He learned about the brothers' disappearance from relatives. There were no clues, I had nothing to believe or disbelieve, says Josef. He didn't know what happened, what people thought, it was said to be uninteresting to him. The fact that my brothers' bodies were found only proves the good work of the police, thinks Josef, who runs a fitness business in Germany. Murders without bodies. Successful Slovak bodybuilders Pavol and Peter were last seen in the gym in Sasova in Banská Bystrica on May 22, 1996 after 10 o'clock in the evening. According to our findings, the police suspected from the beginning that the famous bodybuilders were victims of a violent crime. This was indicated by several witness statements. We learned from our source that the police opened a murder case about 3 years ago without having the bodies of the victims. The Gralmas family came from a village in the Topolcany district. Their 77-year-old mother still lives there. She has a house there, but she could no longer take care of herself, so she has been in a nursing home for 3 years. She was very upset by the news on television. In addition, he is in a serious state of health. He also has sclerosis. He doesn't remember anything anyway. She has already cried enough because of her sons, the home worker told us. In Det Pavlo's gym in Banska Bystrica did not succeed as he had imagined, it had no profits or results. The drama with a later tragic end is said to have started when he received an invoice for 1.5 million for the machines he and his partner had bought. Pavol had nothing to pay her. On the fateful day in May, Pavlo's daughter was 1 year old. Grandma baked her a cake. Pavol had to pick up the cake for his daughter on the way from Bystrica. However, he never came to the village or anywhere else, just like his brother. Don't forget to take out the key. His brother Yosef told me right away that Palo is not a person who just leaves the people he likes, said Pavlov's girlfriend Jana, who suspected that the worst had happened on that fateful day in 1996. When Palo left for Banska Bystrica for the last time, he reminded me not to forget to take the key out of the door, because he would come back at night. He didn't come back. Companion. Yaroslav Bednarsik doesn't remember the details after such a long time. The only good thing about the whole thing is that the police will no longer come here to search me. Because they never put things right after each other, he told us. The Gralmas family came to him unannounced 11 years ago. He had never seen the third man before. He was said to be silent the whole time. He thinks that maybe he wasn't even Slovak. They visited him because Palo wanted to end the joint venture and demanded his share. It was evening. I didn't have time to deal with such a serious problem. We didn't talk about it. The fact that we are dividing had to be written down, says Yaroslav Bednarsik. However, we had no way to divide, we could only divide debts, says Bednarsik. The former business partner does not remember the 1.5 million invoice for the machines, but he admits that the gym had financial difficulties. We had rent arrears. And we had a loan of 500,000 from the bank. We invested the money in machines and in the reconstruction of the premises. Finally, he remembers more precisely. A detective came and asked me what happened to Pal, when was the last time I saw him. They say he hasn't returned to Bratislava and he's been reported missing, he told us. His joint activities with Pavlo Gralmas in Banska Bystrica lasted about a year, and he does not like to remember the whole event. Police Vice President Josef Spyshik told us about the discovery of 3 bodies in a cottage settlement near Brezno. Based on the investigation and information that the missing brothers and another missing man are buried in a certain area, we began to search it and found the remains of 3 bodies. Expertise will show whether it is really the Gralmas brothers. Vlastamen. Why did I publish this article here? Pavol Gralmas was my good friend and also my coach. My peers will definitely remember them. I also trained with Paula and Yaroslav Bednarsik, who also gave me a wealth of knowledge, is the owner of the fitness club G&B Fitness Banska Bystrica. I think that even after so many years, Palo and Peter Gralmas deserve to be remembered. My photos, which I have in the gallery, were taken at their fitness club.